Welcome back to another revealing video. In the underworld, there are plenty of names that are underappreciated, such as the Celtic warrior. Today we'll take you through the notorious life of Danny Green. Who was Danny Green? In the early half of the 20th century, America was mostly divided by families rather than borders. Major cities were controlled by families living there. Various nationalities gained control over the everyday operations of some cities. Danny Green was involved in the struggle to gain absolute power in Cleveland, a city where much of the criminal activity was organized and controlled by these powerful groups. Danny was born in Cleveland in 1933 and named after his grandfather. His mother passed away 3 days after his birth, and things were difficult for him in his childhood. Danny's father was an alcoholic and subsequently lost his job as a salesman. Unable to provide for his family, Danny's father left him in an orphanage. Later, his father remarried and brought Danny back home. But the rebellious child ran away several times, as he disliked his stepmother. His grandfather and aunt raised him in Collinwood, and he attended St. Jerome Catholic School. Here, Danny proved to be athletic, while being poor academically. Later, he was sent to St. Ignatius High School, where he would often get into fights with the immigrant kids looking to make friends. As a result, Danny developed a dislike for Italians, a dislike that remained evident his whole life. Military service and first position of power. After he was expelled from Collinwood High School due to laziness, Danny enlisted in the United States Marine Corps. There he built his reputation as a marksman and boxer, thanks to his clean diet and exercise habits. But his behavior never let him reach higher, and he was transferred several times. He made it to corporal and began teaching the new recruits artillery skills. After an honorable discharge from the Marine Corps, Green started working at the Cleveland docks as a longshoreman. During his free time, he learned about Irish history and began considering himself a Celtic warrior. When the International Longshoremen Association was looking for a new president, Green was chosen as interim president and later won the election. It was there that he began to bring his inspirations to reality, painting the office green, using green carpet flooring, and handing out green ink pens are a few things he did to represent his Irish ethnicity. Green organized strikes and protests along with work stoppages to promote his agenda. He reportedly made workers looking for a job as a longshoreman unload grain, with their paychecks going back to Green. Although these paychecks were supposedly taken by Green to build a union hall, the money went straight to Danny's account. After investigations revealed that Danny had been extorting the workers, he was removed from the union and charged with fraud. Green pleaded guilty to the charges and was fined $10,000 but never paid it. Later, when he returned to the office, he became friends with Louis Triscaro, the boss of the Teamsters. When Triscaro arranged a meeting between Danny and Jimmy Hoffa, the latter warned Triscaro that there was something wrong with Danny. The FBI had recruited Danny as an informant with the alias of Mr. Patrick, a name he picked owing to his beloved Irish saint. He passed along information that would later benefit him and wouldn't hurt anyone close to him. By 1964, the Union wanted to be rid of Danny after he became the subject of an elaborate investigative series led by the U.S. Attorney General, the Internal Revenue Service, the county prosecutor, and the Labor Department. Green was investigated by the ILA and removed from power. He was fined $10,000, but never paid the full amount and walked away free. Stepping into the criminal world. Danny Green began his criminal career with the Cleveland Solid Waste Trade Guild to maintain order. His skills caught the attention of mobster Alex Shondor Burns, who hired Green as an enforcer. The Cleveland Mafia underboss, Little Frank Brancato, used Green and other Irish-American gangsters to strengthen the Mafia's hold over garbage hauling contracts and other operations in the 1960s. Brancato later regretted involving Green due to the chaos he caused. In 1968, Burns instructed Green to attack a numbers man. He was entrusted with a bomb carrying a military-grade detonator, but he had no experience with explosives, and Danny caused a preemptive blast. He survived the explosion, but it permanently damaged his hearing. He then relied on professionals for bomb-related tasks. Rivalries and violence. Mike Fratto, one of the members of the guild, formed the Cuyahoga County Refuse Haulers Association in protest at Green's mob involvement. Fratto's car was bombed in 1971, resulting in the death of Art Snepperger, Green's accomplice. The explosion was believed to be accidental, but some thought Green arranged Snepperger's death. A month earlier, Green instructed Snepperger to plant a bomb on Fratto's car, but Snepperger had informed the enemy of Green's plans. Snepperger had also been a police informant, and it was believed that Danny had arranged Snepperger's assassination for his betrayal. Later, Fratto was shot dead at White City Beach. Danny was suspected of the murder and interrogated. He claimed it was self-defense, as Fratto had fired 3 shots at him, after which he replied with a single shot that ended Fratto's life. According to the evidence, his story was found to be true, and he was released. A subsequent assassination attempt on Green failed. A sniper concealed several hundred feet away from Green missed his shot, and Danny ran after him, firing his own gun in reply. The shooter was never caught. Green's gang and increasing tensions. Green formed the Celtic Club, composed of young Irish-American gangsters. He allied with John Nardi, aiming to overthrow Mafia leadership. Meanwhile, Green and Burns fell out after Danny asked for a $75,000 loan for a gambling house. Arranged by Burns from the Gambino family, Burns' courier lost the money buying cocaine with it. Later, the police raided his house and seized all the drugs, putting him behind bars. When the Gambino family asked for their money back, Burns pressured Green to give it back. Danny refused to pay him back, as he claimed it was Burns' courier's fault. Burns then hired hitmen to kill Green, but they failed. Green retaliated by killing Burns with a bomb in 1975. Green survived another bombing in 1975 and credited his survival to St. Jude. He then encroached on Mafia-controlled vending machines and gambling operations, angering Mafia members like Thomas Sanito, known as the Chinaman. This led to more violence, including the murder of Green's associate and failed bomb attempts. Mafia wars and the rise of Bomb City. The struggle for control intensified after mob leader John Scalish died in 1976. Green and Nardi targeted Scalish's successor, James Licavoli. He was the named successor to Scalish's business, but Nardi challenged him for leadership. He quickly eliminated Licavoli's supporters. Bombings by the two parties resulted in several casualties on both sides, causing them to enter into a heated rivalry. In 1976, there had been 36 bombing incidents in Cleveland, and it was nicknamed Bomb City, USA. Green killed several Mafia hitmen sent after him during this period. Local attention and assassination. In the light of the Waterloo Avenue bombing, in which Danny survived the explosions, he became a legend in the Cleveland underworld. His attitude allowed him to appear on television, even posing with the boarded-up window of his apartment building destroyed. Danny allowed interviews, saying that God directs all his actions and he was supposed to survive those attempts. He even called out his enemies by saying that they could come and take him out at the Celtic Club. In 1977, his friend Nardi was taken out in a car explosion, and just a few months later, Danny was also eliminated. He had a dental appointment which the Mafia knew about after tapping his phone. They planted a bomb in a car parked behind Danny's, which detonated upon his return from the appointment. Ray Ferrito was suspected of planting the bomb, and he immediately went under protection by the FBI. Licavoli later eliminated Ferrito, ending the dispute forever. From an athletic boy who lived in peace to regularly bombing cars, Danny Green's life was anything but smooth. His actions and greed for power catapulted him to new heights. But if it wasn't for his unfaltering faith, he would never have survived. The Mafia continued with their operations, but never encountered an enemy as formidable as the Celtic warrior. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel for more amazing content. Be sure to tell us what you think in the comments section below. Thanks for watching.